Welcome back to the channel, guys. Thank you very much for stopping in. I appreciate the continued support. Let me get right into this video today. Not a single day goes by that I don't get a question about my Catback exhaust system, Speed Culture Catback system as it has come to be known. So I've done a bunch of exhaust videos over the last several months, particularly about this Speed Culture Studios Catback system, but I know people don't want to search through and take the time and effort to look for them, as they've been buried behind a bunch of other videos now. So I wanted to do one that's specific yet to the point, so you know exactly what you're looking for and exactly what to do to make this system happen. And I'll leave some of that other fluff for those other videos. So if you want some other details or specifics in terms of why, go check those other videos out. I'll link those in the description, put the cards across the top as well. But this one is going to be just what you need and where it goes and what it works for. So that's what we're going to talk about. So one related question I get all the time is, what Y pipe should I get, or where does the Y pipe go? You don't need a Y pipe with this one. The Borla Pro XS mid muffler replaces the Y pipe essentially. It's essentially a resonated X pipe. It's called a muffler, but it actually is just a large resonator. It's dual inlet, dual outlet, and it's a perforated core that has a true X crossover. So the exhaust flows from each side of the engine, crossover. It reduces some of that rasp. It smoothens out and refines the tone. That's the purpose for it. And again, it replaces the Y pipe. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, so we'll start from front to back. The first thing you're going to want is a set of flanges. They're on eBay, link in the description below. They're 2.5 inch because that's the size diameter of the exhaust pipe we're going to go with. The shop will have the pipe. That's another question that pops up. Any good exhaust shop has the pipe. They may actually have the flanges there for you too, but to be safe rather than sorry, go ahead and purchase yourself a set of them right now. This allows you to bolt and unbolt your Catback system from your test pipes or stock catalytic converters, just like any typical aftermarket Catback system. You need those flanges to be able to connect and disconnect. And that's another question. Yes, you can install this with the factory catalytic converters. A bunch of people have done this already, and it still sounds great. The next thing you're going to want is that Borla Pro XS muffler. Again, it's not a muffler as we know mufflers to be. It's not chambered. It's not. There's no baffles or anything inside of it. It's just a perforated core, like an oversized resonator with a true crossover. So again, dual inlet, dual outlet, 2.5 inch Borla Pro XS muffler can be found on Amazon. Links in the description below. Following that back to the back side of the car is the Flowmaster Flow FX resonators. Again, 2.5 inch because you're using 2.5 inch exhaust pipe. If you want to go 2.25 inch exhaust pipe, you can do that as well. Just get the corresponding muffler and resonators to make sure those diameters match. So the Flowmaster Flow FX resonators are larger resonators in both diameter as well as length. I think they're like 14 inches long. There are alternatives as well that I'll link in the description below, and I'll talk about this at the end of the video. A little bit larger in size. It's going to tone the exhaust system down even further. But again, these are wide open perforated core resonators. So their purpose is to tone down rasp, not necessarily volume, and they don't impact performance whatsoever. So the point of them is just to eliminate some of that raspy tone, and in combination with the Borla muffler and these two resonators, you're able to eliminate, if not all, very, very close to all of the rasp that these VQ engines can produce. Finally, again, you'll find these linked in the description below. You want to end with, at least my choice, is the U-Power dual wall stainless /cut exhaust tips. 2.5 inch inlet, 4 inch opening. So they fill out the cutouts in your rear bumper or diffuser very, very well. The dual wall gives them more of a substantial look. It allows you to polish them up a little bit better. They look nicer out the tail end of the car. So again, just a recap of the pieces that you need. Flanges, they come in a set of 2. It's essentially a repair kit. So you get a front and a back, left and a right. So all you need is the one set because it comes with 2. You need the Borla Pro XS muffler, then you need the Flowmaster Flow FX resonators, or your choice of resonators, and I'll link a couple options in the description, and then the U-Power 4 inch stainless /cut dual wall tips. Okay, flex pipe. flex pipe is optional. The flex pipe that I've linked in most of the videos is, I believe, 4-inch, maybe 6-inch in total length. You can get smaller. The point of the flex pipe is to reduce the vibration from the engine through your exhaust system. If you have test pipes that have the brackets that connect to that U bracket underneath the car that comes from factory, that's going to help reduce that vibration as well. I don't have those brackets on my test pipes, so I rely on that flex pipe to reduce that vibration coming from the engine. It absorbs the vibration, right? Because the flex pipe moves. It's not rigid. Anything rigid, you're going to feel the vibration. Reducing some of that rigidity with flex pipe is going to make the difference. Now, my recommendation would be go with a little bit smaller section of flex pipe. So here are a couple other questions I get commonly asked about this system. Number one is does it fit in the G37? Yes, it does. The only difference between the G37 and the Q50 essentially is the overall footprint of the vehicle. So as long as there's clearance for that Borla muffler, there's plenty of clearance. And that's the beauty of a custom setup. You can really make it do what you want it to do or what you need it to do as long as there's room. And because that Borla muffler just fits in place of the Y pipe, it's easy. The Flowmaster resonators out back have no impact whatsoever. There's plenty of room for them. The other question is, does it fit all-wheel drive models as well? And yes, it does. Again, because the Borla muffler only replaces the Y pipe, which is the same Y pipe for all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive vehicles, there's no issues whatsoever. Just want to make sure the shop takes care to fit it up in there nice and tight with, in consideration of that front diff and the drive shaft. A bunch of people have installed this on the G37 as well, and it sounds great. Obviously, it's the same platform as the Q50 3.7, so I love it. Big fan of this system on the G. And as a matter of fact, if any of you guys watching this already have this system installed in your G, send me some clips on Instagram. I want to make a video showing some appreciation for you guys like I did with the Q50 guys. So along those same lines, the question that I get is, does this work for the 370Z? And the answer is yes as well. There's a little bit different clearance to consider under the Z, but one of my recommendations actually is to run the system in reverse if you're a 370Z guy looking to install this. So what you would do essentially is get the same flanges, go off your stock catalytic converters or your aftermarket test pipes or high flow cats, whatever the case may be, get those flanges, bolt them up. You would have the shop create essentially not a Y pipe because we want it to be dual exhaust directly off of the test pipes. And instead of the muffler going, the Borla muffler going in that section, you would install the two FlowFX resonators right next to each other side by side. There's room for that. And then you get out toward the back, and where your factory muffler would have been, you put that Borla Pro XS muffler in there, turned sideways rather than the long ways like we have it in the Q. So it sits up where the factory muffler would go, and because it's a true crossover, you can run the exhaust pipe into each end, and then the tips come out each end as well. And I'll try to put a picture up here to illustrate what I'm talking about. So essentially, it hits your FlowFX resonators first, and then your Borla muffler out back. Now, I know some 370Z guys like a little more aggressive exhaust note. Now, this exhaust system is quite aggressive. I've had a couple of people with some sensitive ears say that it's a little too loud for them, and they've added additional resonators. And again, that's the beauty of a custom setup. You can tailor it to your liking. But I've also had a couple of guys that wanted a little more aggressive. So instead of the Borla Pro XS, they've gotten a smaller dual inlet, dual outlet resonator or muffler, which allows a little bit more rasp through, a little touch more volume, because again, the point of a resonator is more to eliminate some of those nasty notes and not necessarily volume. So with that being the case, for you 370 guys, if you prefer a little bit more of a violent exhaust note, you could skip the FlowFX resonators in the middle and just go with the Borla out back. That'd be my recommendation, because the Borla does a great job of getting rid of the rasp. And the FlowFX resonators are kind of like an added touch of security. So that'd be my suggestion. And there's some aftermarket systems that look just like that. But if you're going to go that route, that's what I would do. Another question is, what about ground clearance? I'm lowered, and will it scrape? And I've had a shop tell me that if I hit a bump, I'm going to rip my exhaust system off. Nonsense. I'm lowered 1.5 inches on Tane S-Tech lowering springs. As long as the exhaust system, and I don't rub it all, by the way, as long as the exhaust company or the exhaust shop that you go to really takes care to tuck that Borla muffler up in where it should be, you're not going to have any issues at all. If you're running super downs or coilovers and you're really slammed, you're already watching out to not scrub anyway. So, take speed bumps cautiously, be careful going into steep driveways. But like I said, I'm lowered 1.5 inches and I haven't experienced any rubbing. Again, it's all about the shop. So do some research before you go into an exhaust shop and make sure they know what the hell they're doing. Another question is, does this work on the 3.0T? And the answer again is yes. A couple of people have done it already and it actually sounds really, really good. The 3.0T has quite a different exhaust note than the 3.7, but this setup helps bring that note down, gives it more of a deep rumbling growl and an aggressive tone on acceleration. So I really like how it sounds. I hope a lot more 3.0T guys start to adopt this exhaust system, because they're always out looking for a good exhaust note, because of course that's one thing they don't have over us 3.7 guys, is that beautiful aggressive exhaust tone. So hopefully this system helps out a lot of those 3.0T guys that are looking for that aggressive rumble. And the final questions I always get revolve around the exhaust shop itself. How much does it cost? How long should it take? And do they supply the pipe? Number one, how much does it cost? It costs me about $150 for installation. So really cheap, but I have a great local exhaust shop that does great quality work for really exceptional prices. And I can't guarantee you're going to find a shop in your area that does it that cheaply, but what I've heard is estimates ranging from about $200 to $400 for installation. I would say anything in that $250 to $300 range isn't too bad. That's going to get you this really nice exhaust setup for less than $600, a lot of times less than $500 total installed, so that's great. Some people have gotten estimates of $800 to $1,000. That is nonsense. That's the I don't really want to do this for you price, right? So don't go to that shop. Keep shopping around before you find somebody to do the installation for you. And I say that because this took my shop 45 minutes to do, and we were BSing the whole time, chit-chatting, talking. It is not a long process. It's a couple of bends, and you're doing a couple welds to connect everything together. Doesn't take long at all. If they're telling you it's going to take more than an hour, more than an hour and a half would be obnoxiously long for this installation. But if they're telling you any longer than that, they just don't want to do it for you. So is the shop going to have pipe there for you, or you got to buy it on your own? Any quality exhaust shop is going to have that pipe there ready to go for you in all different types of diameters. But again, we're looking for 2.5 unless you choose to go 2.25 yourself. Feel free to leave any questions in the comment section below. I'll definitely get to them. I'd love to help you out. I love this exhaust system, so I want to try to share it with as many people as I possibly can. I hope I gave you just the specific details that you're looking for. If you want some more information about the system or why it's set up the way it is, you can check out those older videos. But I hope this was helpful. Hope it gives you what you need to get your exhaust system sounding fantastic. Speed Culture Studios Catback system, again, works just fine with stock catalytic converters, high flow cats, resonated test pipes, regular test pipes. It works for Q50, G37, 370Z, 3.0T guys. It works for them all. It sounds great for them all. Check out some of my other videos and you get some examples of them. Thank you guys very much for watching. Again, let me know in the comment section if you have any questions. Happy to guide you as best I can. We will see you in the next video. Good stuff coming.